Hey, it's Steve Little. I've got something really cool to share with you today. It's actually a really simple technique you can use to actually increase your ability to focus and immediately accelerate your success. Just the other day I hosted the monthly Perfect Biz Builder Coaching Mastermind teleclass with all the participants in that program. One of the topics we discussed was the importance of setting and managing your expectations so they actually serve the greatest possible outcome. But there's more to setting expectations than you might think. And I've got something to share with you today that will make a big difference for you. No matter where you are in the process of building your business, you probably want to see more success sooner. That's a pretty normal objective. But how much success should you really expect to have, and how soon should you expect to have it? There's a bit of a trap within that success objective, and the sooner you understand what's at work and master the method I'm going to teach you today, the sooner you can turn it into a powerful advantage-making strategy. Now let me give you some background. Now that technology allows researchers to actually monitor activity in the brain while in action, we can see that expectations don't only affect the way you perceive events and change the activation of certain brain regions, which is interesting enough as it is, but they also have a strong impact on your neurochemistry. Now, researchers at Cambridge University in England have studied the brain's reward circuitry, and they've discovered that missetting expectations, whether a little too high or a little too low, actually inhibits brain function and your ability to think or think clearly. Now, without getting into too much technical depth, dopamine cells sit deep within the brain and fire something akin to an electrical signal in anticipation of a primary reward. Any cue indicating that you're going to get a reward causes the release of dopamine in the brain. Unexpected rewards release more than expected ones. So, a surprise bonus at work, even a small one, positively impacts brain chemistry more than an expected pay raise. Now conversely, if you're expecting a reward and don't get it, dopamine levels fall off steeply. Perhaps you've noticed that expecting a pay raise and not getting it can create an emotional funk that lasts for days. Now when you think about this a minute and think about its implications, consider that low levels of unmet expectations are something we experience all the time. Slow traffic when we're in a hurry, long lines at the grocery store, whatever. I think you get the idea. That exasperation or frustration you feel is directly attributable to a drop in dopamine levels in your brain. Now, you may have already known that part, but what you may not have known is that this actually lowers brain function. More specifically, in the regions responsible for most of your active or cognitive thinking. You might say that the disappointment of unmet expectations actually dumbs you down. Maybe this is why we as humans tend to react stupidly when angry or frustrated. The actual number of neurological connections your brain is able to make per second is directly tied to dopamine levels. When dopamine is too low, your thought capacity, particularly focused creative thought capacity, drops. But here's the key point. Positive expectations increase the level of dopamine in the brain and increase your ability to focus. Interest, desire, positive expectations all increase dopamine levels and so increase your capacity for focused thought. As a result of experiencing any of these emotions, you're able to perceive more options, solve more complex problems, and generate more creative ideas and solutions in any situation. So whether your goal is to improve your performance at work or innovate a new breakthrough business strategy, clearly it's going to be useful to manage expectations well enough to create the right level of dopamine for an optimal result. Now, the best way you can manage your expectations is to start to pay attention to them. It is particularly important to avoid the experience of unmet expectations, of course, and consciously altering what you expect can have a surprisingly positive effect. Now, when you can stop yourself and notice your own mental state, you have the capacity to make choices about different ways of thinking. So keeping an even keel about potential wins can pay off in a big way if you know how to align your expectations. Now, this is not to say you should dampen down your expectations with uncertainty or doubt. Not at all. In fact, to the contrary. Instead, it's important for you to know how to set what I call positive progressive expectations to keep feeding and reinforcing this process while advancing your business concept. Champion athletes, for instance, don't diminish their performance objective to something they know they can achieve when preparing for a contest. That would be counterproductive. Nor do they allow the possibility of an unmet expectation, failure in a competition for instance, to inhibit their capacity to focus on their victory. Instead, they observe the flow of their attention and make subtle changes and push or steer the brain into remaining focused on the moment. The very same technique is available to you for developing the capacity to focus and create your perfect business success. And this is how it works. You'll recall that in order for your business to deliver what you truly want, it must serve or deliver in each of these 7 areas. It must serve your desires in business and vocation. It must serve money and finance, relationships, personal growth, health and fitness, recreation and fun, and community contribution. As such, you should set several specific goals and intentions in each of these areas. And when you do, you'll be setting a collection of expectations that correspond to them. In order for you to take advantage of the true power of these expectations, if you'll take the goals and intentions that you've set in each and break them up into small, incremental, more task-oriented intentions, then you'll be creating a corresponding set of incremental expectations. Then, as you endeavor to complete each of these little intentions, the accomplishments all along the way meet your expectations and stimulate and maintain optimal dopamine levels, and you remain focused, accomplish more, and win big in the process. In fact, this little technique will often result in astonishing insights and breakthroughs, simply because your brain is able to fire more neurological connections faster. You're actually supercharging your intellect by virtue of managing your expectations. Just by breaking up your intentions into tiny little steps where your performance meets expectations consistently, you're guaranteeing success breakthroughs. Now, I've been using this for years with amazing results. The 2 key elements you must command for leveraging expectations to increase your capacity to focus and succeed are, first, knowing how and where to set your expectations, and second, being able to observe the flow of your attention and make those subtle but critical adjustments. To do this effectively, not only do you need to know what, in terms of your business concept, needs to get done and by when, but you also need to know what specifically to focus your attention on in order to know what and where to make the adjustments that are necessary. Now, this can be more challenging than you might think, and it's going to require some practice on your part. And it's just another reason for engaging a coaching professional. Now, consider the illustration of an athlete. Every athlete knows how to work out, exercise, and practice their sport or event. But the champion athletes, the ones that really win big, all have at least one coach. Now, you may have heard that I've decided to compete again at the master's level in bodybuilding. I've been a champion bodybuilder before, so I know how to do it, but I also know better than to try to do it on my own. I would be passing off on the greatest opportunity for leveraging my success potential if I did that. I know that I'm best served by retaining a coach. And it's the same for you in your business. Can you generate some success on your own? Probably. But in order to build the success you truly seek, it's going to take great coaching to help you make it happen. Hey, well, look, I hope you enjoyed the little lesson about expectation setting and how you can implement a simple process right now to literally improve your brain capacity. Take care.